I've been getting a fair amount of requests for a tutorial for the low Notic dribbles. So all I'm going to do is break them down for you today. Basically what it's going to look like, this is the very basic, where it all kind of started from, was Johnny Blaze just doing this. Okay, and then from there there's a lot of variations. Some you can come up with in your own, some I'm going to break down here. If you want to see more of them, let me know, and I can, just be specific about what you want to see exactly. Maybe say what player you saw do it, and I can try to break it down for you. But a basis for a lot of these moves, what you want to start with is some of my basketball drills tutorials. They're on my YouTube page. Check them out, or just search Snake basketball drills tutorials. Stuff like the spider dribble will really help you learn how to do this, and your finger dribbling. A lot of what these moves require is a lot of fingertip control and a lot of fast hand speed. From there, it's just a lot of it is really going to be practice. Just getting the feel for it and getting the speed for it, the rhythm for it, and just the coordination for it. So there's a lot of little elements in it that you got to practice to really get it down, to become able to do it real quick like that, where the ball barely even looks like it's bouncing. Basically, I want to, you guys be able to see a real close-up of what this is going to look like. For the basic Johnny Blaze one, what you're going to be doing is first start practicing just doing this. A tiny dribble back and forth. Notice how my hands are almost always on the ball. Very, very little time where my hands are not, one of my hands is not on the ball. So, what you're going to do is just start with that and start bringing it tighter and closer. Now notice my finger motion. Look at my hands, they're doing like this. What you're gonna do is your hand, you want your fingers to end up almost about halfway onto the ball, on the side of the ball. And you're gonna kind of curl up with your fingers. So it's gonna be kind of like that. You're kind of spinning it. See that? And at the same time, you're gonna kind of, as you're curling up with your fingers, you're gonna kind of try to push down with your thumb too, so you're kind of squeezing it out. So after a while, it's gonna be mostly with your fingers, but a little bit with your thumbs pushing down, but mostly with your fingers curling up. So it's almost like you're pulling the ball up and then pushing it down real quick. And from there, it just becomes a rhythm thing, just back and forth, back and forth. And one thing you can learn how to do is, sometimes if you start getting too low with it, the ball will actually end up like just rolling on the ground. You can do a real quick, see that? Bring your hand a little bit under, halfway under the ball. If you do it quick enough, people probably won't notice. And you kind of pull it up. See that? Now that was a big exaggerated one. People might notice that if you go like that. But if you can kind of start from little and bring it up a little bit bigger, little by little, it's not as obvious. You do it real, just a barely carry. Because if technically, if your hand is more than halfway under the ball, this goes for any of my drills, any of the moves that you do, the people will always ask, is that a carry? Is that a double dribble? It is only if your hand goes over halfway under the ball. So for this, if you're doing this, and the ball's basically just on the ground like this, and you go like that, technically that's a carry. Again, basically it's all fingertip, very little of your finger pads, just like all your dribble drills, it should be almost all on your fingertips. And a little bit with your thumb tips on this one. And then from there you can start going behind the back with it. Show you what it looks like. I mean, basically the hand motion doesn't change. The only difference is you're doing it behind the back. Now, there's a Goosebumps variation of this. It's just like that. Basically, it's that little carry thing I was showing you, done to a larger degree. You're just gonna like come under it a little bit, pull it up with your fingers, fingertips and let it bounce a couple times and come back to the other side. Kind of like your Japanese moves where you're coming back and forth with your hand, overhand, underhand. And you're just gonna be scooping the ball up, letting it bounce. And then also you can come up with your little variations like this. That's kind of a kamikaze variation. That's gonna be not as much like the Notic low dribble like that though. That's gonna be a little more up and down like the spider dribble from the drills tutorials. You're gonna kind of hit it more on the top and put a little angle of a crossover motion into it, but it's gonna be more up and down with your hands, hitting it straight up and down, kind of like in the spider dribble. Whereas the Notic one is gonna be more side to side. So that's it for today's tutorial for the Notic low dribbles. Let me know if there's any variations of it you want to see, or even any other tutorials of any sort, and I'll try to come up with something for you. Leave a comment, rate, subscribe, share this video with people if you like it. Same with all the other videos you see on the tutorials, and post video responses of anything you've learned from these videos. I want to see, you know, people coming up with their own variations on these moves, or even just doing the moves exactly as I showed them in the tutorials. Post a video response so I can see how you're doing, and just, you know, so I can know that people are learning something from them. Thanks.